What up, guys? Joe White here, and in this video, we are going to be discussing, or I'm going to be discussing, how I think the Wyatt 6, or at this point, it's just the Wyatt 5. I hope to God they're not called the Reckoning. Oh, God. Please don't be called the Reckoning. Anyway, um, I'm going to be talking about how this group, the Wyatt 5, will debut, and what we will see with them going forward. Now, if you look on your screen, if you want to scan the QR code that's on the screen, that's last night's QR code. It leads you to a bunch of stuff, good stuff. I will say that for the majority of this Nightbird campaign, I have been 100% on board with it for the majority of it. There was a lull there right after King and Queen of the Ring where it felt like we didn't get much of anything. Um, However, we have gotten a lot, especially last night during um, Clash the Castle, which to all my UK friends over there, ha, punk. Anyway, I said it was probably going to happen, and it happened. Also, let's get back to this because I really want to discuss this Uncle Howdy campaign. The QR code started the day after WrestleMania. The Monday after WrestleMania is when it started. In all reality, it actually started a few days earlier at um, actually, it was not even at WWE World. It was when the Bray Wyatt debut documentary debuted. I want to say that was what, April 1st of this year. We're now in the middle of June, so we're going on about 2.5 months of this going on. If you look at what's on your screen now, you can see that the word massacre and the S's are $2 signs. Now in WWE, there's three things that come to mind when I see dollar signs. One is the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, which I think has nothing to do with this. Two is Shane McMahon, which again I think has nothing to do with this. The third is Money in the Bank. I will say this. People like Wrestling Days and everybody else has been throwing out this theory that, yes, we're going to see them tomorrow night. They are going to show up in Corpus Christi, Texas. But then after this show, they show up, we're going to start getting a series of vignettes leading up to them interfering with or doing something or the massacre happening at Money in the Bank. That is a good theory, except there's one problem, and that's people's patience. They don't want to debut this at an international PLE. Money in the Bank takes place in Toronto. Granted, it's right across the border. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Raw or SmackDown in Detroit afterwards. Either Detroit or, somewhere along the eastern, the northeastern United States. Ohio, maybe, whatever the case may be. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point is, if they try to extend this yet another month, when is Money in the Bank? Let me look that up real quick. Hang on. July 6th. So we are, let's see, Money in the Bank. Let's see, where are we at? As of this Monday, we'll be about 3 weeks away. As of this Saturday, we'll be 2 weeks away. It's a quick turnaround for PLE. So they debut Monday. We get a QR code maybe leading to a vignette on Friday. That's 6 more QR codes or vignettes we may have to go through before these guys finally debut. And I got to tell you guys, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm going to see it through. But these guys should have been, yeah, and people can say, oh, your patience, you wouldn't have lasted the old days when they did 6 or 7 month storylines with Sting and Starcade. Yeah, look how that turned out. And again, like I said in previous videos, even with the Sting and Hogan bit leading up to Starcade 97, even with the Undertaker Kane leading up to WrestleMania 14, we got breadcrumbs along the way. We actually got to see these people along the way. I mean, it's crazy. This is nuts. These people should have been in the ring wrestling already. This is wrestling. This is pro wrestling. As sooner or later, these guys got to wrestle. It's not Masterpiece Theater. It's pro wrestling. I mean, that's the biggest problem that people have. My truck is going to start up here. I'm sorry. Hold on. There we go. Anyway, you can't have you can only do the spooky ookie ookie for so long. The Undertaker, Kane had a wonderful program. Guess what happened? They still had to get in the ring. It's they still have to get these guys in matches. Now, if they try to drag this out to Money in the Bank, they'll say, "Well, we'll get vignettes." This whole Nightbird campaign has been one giant vignette to get these guys, up and running. And I just think that it's time, man. I think it's more than time. If they do film vignettes, I would like to see these vignettes played throughout Monday Night Raw. And then at the end of Raw, come out and, remember what the Nexus did when they debuted right after the first inaugural season of NXT so many moons ago in like 2011, 2012? They came in and they just massacred the place. Daniel Bryan even got fired for it because he was choking Justin Roberts. But anyway, point is, we need something like that to happen tomorrow night. Um, Now, the Money in the Bank thing. Here's where I stand on this. The whole Money in the Bank thing. Could they do something at Money in the Bank with yes, they could, but we need to see something of these guys. And we need to see more than vignettes. And we need to see more of them walking through a door set that they've created. I mean, at the very least, we need to see them in a Firefly Funhouse skit or something to that effect. But to keep it going for another 6 episodes of TV, or at least another 5, that's a bit much. Now, again, I'm in it for the long haul, but sooner or later, they got to get in the ring. Sooner or later, we got to see these guys wrestle. And all of them are fantastic workers. Joe Gacy is really good. Nikki Cross, really good. Eric Rowan is good. Bo Dallas is awesome. Dexter Loomis, really good. I liked this work in NXT. But we got to see these guys sooner or later. And I just hope it's tomorrow night. Now, here's another thing that kills me is that everybody is treating these guys like they're main event stars. This is not meant to be in the main event. I said this from day one. You're not going to see Uncle Howdy going up against Damian Priest or Cody Rhodes. Now, as to what show they're on, that's another thing that kills me is that, these guys we don't know where they're going to be week after week. Could they pop up anywhere? If that's the case, what's the use of a roster split? But how do you draft a supernatural character? How do you look at some Uncle Howdy and go, Uncle Howdy, you're on, the general managers tonight at Raw, we have a general manager meeting to decide who signs Uncle Howdy. Just the thought of that sounds crazy. Now, towards the end there, Bray Wyatt was feuding with LA Knight, and that was on SmackDown. I don't think you need to come out and say, yes, these guys are on this brand. Just have them go to a brand after the first couple weeks and stay there. But going back to what I was saying before, this is a mid card faction at best. Now, could I see them? Could I see Loomis and Gacy winning the um, tag titles? Yeah. Could I see, uh, or maybe Lewis and Rowan, because that's a hell of a tag team. Two big giant suckers like that. Could I see Joe Gacy going after the U.S. title? Yeah. Could I? But I could even see Nikki Cross going after a women's title or teaming up with Alexa Bliss when she comes back into the fold to win the women's tag titles. But I don't think, I mean, I could even see Uncle Howdy as Intercontinental Champion. But hey, if Kane can win a world title or a guy risen from the dead could win a world title, why not Uncle Howdy? I will admit, though, just saying, you're WWE Champion, Uncle Howdy. Do we not see how that could sound a little bit silly? A little bit too silly? Unless it's a personality type thing and it's Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas is a former NXT champion. The man can work. But I don't see this ever going that far. We need to come to a stark realization that these guys are upper mid card. That's it. If they ever get into a main event, they'll main event shows. But as far as getting into a world heavyweight title picture, if that ever happens, it would shock the ever loving hell out of me. But what do they do tomorrow night when they debut? I think you get the door. Remember when Bray Wyatt would come out and do his entrance? They would wheel out this little door frame and throw a ghillie net over it, like camouflage, and shine the blue light and all that. I think you get that. I think you get music, obviously, new music. I think at the end of Raw, they come out and show their face just like they did, like Bray did at Extreme Rules. They have to show their faces, and it has to be more than just showing them on the screen. They need to be there in person. It's been long enough. Maybe they do a beatdown. Everybody's saying Chad Gable, Chad Gable. Chad Gable at this point is a heel. So people are going to go, oh, he's going to stand up for Otis and Maxine and all them. Well, that makes Otis and Maxine and Tozawa look even weaker because they need the they need the Scooby Doo bunch to show up and save them. How does that make a big sucker like Otis look? Come on, think about that. Just think about it. These could be red herrings throwing you off. Now, if you go to the countdown screen and you click on the word massacre or reckoning, reckoning, it takes you to another picture. And in that picture, there is a book that is called Misdiagnosed. Let me see if I can actually find it here. It's written by a man named Jonathan Foles. And Jonathan Foles is a real person. Um, who is a doctor of psychiatry or psychology. I don't know. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Trying to look at the name of the book. It's called. The name of the book is Misdiagnosed, and Miss is in parentheses. How Bias Distorts Our Perception of Mental Health by Jonathan Foles. And it's available in audio book and everything like that. But if this Jonathan Foles is based out of Chicago, and that is where SmackDown is going to be this week. So there's another clue. Maybe we see Jonathan Foles, although it would be highly unethical for a doctor, a real doctor, to do this. Maybe we see him in action, diagnosing Uncle Howdy. Who knows? Another therapy session. Maybe we see the sexy shrink again. Who knows? But I think as far as tomorrow night goes, they need to do something. Exactly what, I don't know. Maybe you tease it throughout the show, and then at the end they come out there and beat somebody down or beat up a faction. Maybe they beat up the entire Alpha Academy, and this turns Chad babyface and reunites the Alpha Academy, and it's the Alpha Academy versus the Wyatt Five. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen with this faction because it has to be good. It has to hit. As I said in another video, if this does not hit just right, and if those fans in Corpus Christi, Texas are not going in there suspecting something, and if they are in fact suspecting something and you don't give them something good and something hard hitting and meaningful, then this has the ability to be shockmaster level, gobbledygooker level bad. This could be the very, the worst bomb in WWE history. Now I want it to be nothing more than good. I want smiles and high fives all around after this is over with. But I don't think they could stretch this another month. Not with vignettes. This whole entire night can't go look at the recapitulation page. That is those are your vignettes. It's time for the big reveal. Anyway, folks, I'm going to jump off here. How I would debut them. I'll tell you how I would debut them. I would have them come through that door, lights go out, go through the door, and beat down whoever the hell's in the ring. As far as the costuming and what this looks like, go look at the pictures. We've pretty much seen them. One of those characters has like long hair and shoulder pads. He's wearing a singlet. Looks kind of like something out of Lord of the Rings, to tell you the truth. But let me know what you think in the comments below. How does this group debut tomorrow night? Do they debut tomorrow night? Oh man, that's another thing. If all we get is another QR code tomorrow, oof. Oh, people are going to be dropping from this like flies. Like flies. That reminds me. I wonder if the QR. No, I just looked. It doesn't work. Okay. I was wondering if the QR code could be manipulated still. And it can, but still it just reaches 0 and that's it. Anyway, I'm going to jump off here, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below about all this. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you down the road.